Hi, let's look at the different types of listing contracts.
Listing agreements. Listing agreements are a type of employment contract between a broker and a property owner. As with all contracts, there are conditions that must be met by both the broker and the property owner as parties to the contract. Real estate licensees under the broker are obligated to the terms of the contract as subagents of the broker. Conditions created by listing agreements. The listing contract creates conditions that must be met between the parties. The parties are the seller of the property and the broker. The real estate agents work on behalf of the broker. The contract obligates the broker to attempt to find a buyer for the property. If a buyer is found, the property owner is obligated to compensate the broker per the terms of the listing contract. Each state specifies requirements for listing agreements. Listing statutes generally include that written listing agreements must contain a definite expiration date, a description of the property, the listing price with acceptable sale terms, and the commission structure to be paid to the broker either at the time of listing or upon a sale. A written listing contract must be signed by all legal owners of the property. Listing agreements must not contain a provision for automatic renewal. Required information. Definite expiration date, description of property, price and terms, broker commission or fee, signatures of all owners, and there must not be an automatic renewal. Types of listings. There are 4 basic types of listing agreements. Open listing, exclusive agency listing, exclusive right to sell listing, and a net listing. Open listing. An open listing allows for the seller to list the property with multiple brokerages. Under an open listing, the first brokerage to bring an acceptable contract earns a commission. The brokerages that did not bring a buyer would not receive any commission. And if the owner secured his or her own buyer, no brokerage would receive a commission. An open listing is a unilateral contract. The brokers are not being obligated to work to bring a buyer. They are instead being given the opportunity to bring a buyer. The key is the difference between the obligation as a bilateral contract and the opportunity of the unilateral contract. If the broker brings the buyer, the seller is obligated to pay the agreed upon commission. Therefore, an open listing is a unilateral contract. There was a time in history when this type of listing made more sense than it does today. Buyers used to go directly to sales offices to find out about listings offered by just that one brokerage office. With listings posted on multiple internet sites, brokers are less motivated to consider entering this type of listing. The broker could find him or herself in the position of spending marketing dollars, creating buyer awareness of the property, and then not being compensated for their marketing efforts. Open listing summarized. An owner can list with as many brokers as he or she wishes. The first broker to bring an acceptable contract will earn the sale and the commission. If the owner sells the property him or herself, then no brokerage receives a commission. Open listings are unilateral contracts. Exclusive agency listing. The exclusive agency listing prevents the seller from listing with any other brokerage. However, the seller may seek a buyer on his or her own. If a buyer is produced without the aid of the broker, then the seller is not obligated to pay the broker a commission. This is a bilateral contract. Even though the broker may not get paid, the broker is obligated to attempt to produce a buyer, and the seller is obligated to not list with another broker. This type of listing agreement is popular when agents work to list homes being sold for sale by owner. As with the open listing, the broker may find him or herself putting out time and money for marketing a home without ending up being compensated upon a sale. Exclusive agency summarized. The broker earns a commission if the property owner has not found the buyer him or herself. If the property owner secures the buyer, the broker is not paid a commission. This is a type of bilateral contract. Exclusive right of sale listing. The exclusive right of sale listing agreement obligates the seller to only list with the one brokerage and to pay the broker no matter who secures the buyer. This is a bilateral contract. The exclusive right of sale listing agreement, also known as the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, is the most popular form of listing agreement. This contract is preferred by brokers because it guarantees the broker payment if a buyer is secured within the listing timeline. Brokers who are members of the multiple listing service may advertise a commission split to other brokers who produce a buyer. Either way, the listing broker gets paid. And if the owner brings a buyer him or herself, the broker still gets compensated per the terms of the listing agreement. Know that it is possible to exclude a buyer from an exclusive right of sale listing contract. When an agent meets with the potential seller to list a home, the agent may find the seller reluctant to commit due to one party who has been considering purchasing the home. By excluding that person from the agreement or altering the commission to be paid if that person does buy, the seller will be more likely to go forward with the contract. Rarely do individuals that have been excluded from the contract actually end up buying the property. Exclusive right of sale summarized. A broker is the only broker who can receive a commission. The broker receives a commission no matter who brings the buyer. You may offer a co-brokerage to a buyer's agent in the MLS and is considered a bilateral contract. Net listing. A net listing could be either an open listing, an exclusive agency listing, or an exclusive right of sale listing. What creates a net listing is how the broker's commission is calculated. With a net listing, the seller agrees to take an amount that the seller will receive after all selling costs. The broker's commission is part of the selling cost. After all expenses of the sale are paid, less the amount agreed to be paid to the seller, the broker receives the remaining amount as the commission. This is a bilateral contract. A net listing creates an opportunity for an unethical agent to take advantage of a homeowner that isn't aware of the true value of his or her home. For this reason, a net listing is not legal in all states. It is important to check your state rules requiring net listings. In Indiana, for example, net listings are illegal. In Florida, for example, net listings are legal. A net listing is legal in Florida. However, taking advantage of sellers is not legal under laws of misrepresentation, including misrepresenting the true value of the property. A net listing is a bilateral contract as both the seller and the broker are obligated to perform. Net listing summarized. The seller agrees to a net sale price. The broker keeps everything over this net price. Not legal in all states. And is a bilateral contract.